Hey everybody, this is Dale with Networking Step by Step. In today's video cheat sheet, we're going to redistribute some routes into OSPF. First, we're going to do some baseline show commands to look at the OSPF area types and then also whether or not the routes are being propagated already. Then we're going to try to redistribute some routes into different OSPF area types, and then we're going to do some verification show commands to see if the routes are actually propagating. So let's look at the network topology. In previous video cheat sheets, we've configured OSPF Area 2 up here between router 1 and 2 as a not so stubby area, totally stub area. And we're going to redistribute some routes into OSPF via R1. And then down here in this OSPF Area 2 between 3, 5, 6, and 4, we made this OSPF area a total stub area, and we're going to try to redistribute some routes into 5 into OSPF. So let's go and get started and see how that works out for us. I'm going to start on router 2, and I'm going to do a show IP route for a loopback address on router 1, and that network is not in the table. So let's go over to router 1 and verify that it's still a not so stubby area, total stub area. And it is. It's a not so stubby area, and we can check real quick to see if it's still a not so stubby area, total stub area, and it is, because we don't have any inter-area routes and we're receiving a default route. And once again, this is all from a previous video cheat sheet. So let's configure router 1 to redistribute connected subnets, and this is how we're choosing to do it. Redistribute connected subnets, and I highly recommend you always include that subnet keyword, and the configuration guide will explain why. And then the metric type of 1 means that it actually will keep track of the OSPF cost as it traverses through the network, as opposed to the default of metric type 2, which doesn't keep track at all. You can also use route maps and several other things to filter what you're redistributing in, but we're just keeping it simple for now. Alright, so no errors, no issues. I typed in the redistribute connected subnets, metric type 1. Let's go over to router 2 and see if it has this prefix now. And it does, and it sees it as a type NSSA, because that's what it's from that area, and external 1, which is the metric type that we set it up for. So we have successfully redistributed that route into OSPF from a not so stubby area. So let's go down here to router 3 and see if it has the route to a loopback interface on router 5, and it does not, doesn't have it in the table. So then let's do the same thing that we did on router 1, and let's do it on router 5. Let's verify the type of area it is, and it is a stub area. And I'm going to do a show IP route. Let's just do a show IP route. And it has the default route, and it doesn't have any inter-area routes. So that makes it a total stub area. And so let's try to redistribute the exact same command that we did up on router 1, which was in a not so stubby area, here on router 5, which is in a total stub area. And we get a warning error here. It says, warning, router is currently an autonomous system border router while having only one area, which is a stub area. So basically, whenever you redistribute anything into OSPF, it's assuming that you're bringing it from outside the network. So it makes it an autonomous system border router, and it didn't like that. It didn't like the fact that you tried to do that on a total stub area. So let's go over to router 3 and see if it has it. And it doesn't. It still doesn't have it. Let's go back to router 5 and see if it even took the command, which I'm betting that it did, but it kicked the error out anyway and said, look, I'll take the command, but I'm not going to function the way that you think that I should function. And sure enough, there it is. So it redistributed it in, but as we saw on router 3, it still doesn't have the route. So that's how you redistribute routes into OSPF.